Welcome back to the Literary Apothecary. My name is Kate, and today I'm here to talk to you about The Unwilling by Kelly Braffet. Now, I am really excited because I am so caught up on my video reviews that I am now filming a review for a book that I just finished yesterday. Well, by the time you all see this, it'll be a week from now, but just keep in mind that this book is so fresh in my mind because I literally just finished it last night. And that hardly ever happens with me. I'm usually so far behind on my video reviews that I'm reviewing books I've read at least a month or two behind. So I'm really excited about this. The Unwilling is book 1 in the Barrier Lands series. It's a fantasy horror, although I'm not quite sure how much horror really comes into it. I think now that I've read some actual horror books, this one feels more fantasy, less horror, maybe like a dark fantasy instead. I read this because it was sent to me by my very dear friend Sharon, and I spun the wheel and it landed on Sharon's name, and so I spun my Sharon wheel and it landed on The Unwilling. I originally had this on my wish list because the cover drew me in instantly. My general thoughts about this book, now I have a lot of mixed feelings about this book. It had intriguing ideas, but the execution felt a little bit sloppy to me. It was hard to follow at times. It had a slow, methodical prose. I didn't love it, but I was so intrigued that I had to know what happened. The magic and characters were interesting, but the story was more so. Now, a spoiler-free description of what this book is all about. A penetrating tale of magic, faith, and pride. The Unwilling is the story of Judah, a foundling born with a special gift, raised inside Highfall Castle, along with Gavin, the son and heir to Lord Elbin's vast empire. Judah and Gavin share an unnatural bond that is both the key to her survival and possibly her undoing. As Gavin is groomed for his future role, Judah comes to realize that she has no real position within the kingdom. In fact, no hope at all of ever traveling beyond its castle walls. Elbin, a lord as mighty as he is cruel, has his own plans for her, for all of them. She is a mere pawn to him, and he will stop at nothing to get what he wants. But outside the walls, in the starving, desperate city, a magus, a healer with his own secret power, unlike anything Highfall has seen in years, is newly arrived from the provinces. He too has plans for the empire, and at the heart of those plans lies Judah. The girl who started life with no name and no history will soon uncover more to her story than she ever imagined. An epic tale of greed and ambition, cruelty and love, this deeply immersive novel is about bowing to traditions and burning them down. Now, as I said, I've had mixed feelings about this book, and I'll go into why in each one of these categories. I will say that I'm working on a more accurate rating system. While I'm going to stick with the call pile system, and even my 1 through 5 rating numbers, I'm starting to pay attention to how I am assigning these numbers out more closely. Do they really deserve the 4s and 5s that they are getting, or should they be a little bit lower? So while I did have mixed feelings, and I think this is the right rating for this book. If you look at my written review, which will be linked down in the description below, you'll notice that some of these are lower than previous books have been in the past with similar issues. So that's just a quick explanation on why it might seem that way. So for our characters, it didn't seem like any, or at least most of the characters were good people, but they were decent characters. They kept me engaged. Our atmosphere and setting, now I loved the atmosphere and setting here, and I think this is one of the best things about this book. And the tower at the end almost became a character on its own, and I love it when settings do that. Our writing style, this writing style was really, really slow and methodical prose. The audiobook helped me along, but this book felt much longer than it needed to be. If we just pushed the pace a little bit faster and moved some of the events at the end to earlier in the book, it would have been shorter and more enjoyable. The plot was crazy interesting, but moved too slow for my liking. What happened and was revealed in the last 200 pages, I needed earlier. There was too much buildup for me. Intrigue, I was very intrigued. However, because of the extremely slow pace, I was ready to DNF it a few times and find a summary online of all that happened, regardless of my intrigue. The audiobook helped me keep going though. What was explained made logical sense in its own way, but again, it felt too late for me. I enjoyed parts of it, but was heavily distracted with the slow pace. The last 200 books, though, had me on the edge of my seat and turning page after page. I loved those last 200 pages of this book. And our audiobook narrator, because this was an immersion read for me, our audiobook narrator was Tia Ryder, and she did a fantastic job. This audiobook kept me from DNFing it a few times. So if you've read The Unwilling by Kelly Braffet before, let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this book? Did you have issues with it like I did, or were you just completely in love with it? As always, keep reading, and I love you all to the moon and back. Bye.